Hi guys, it's Monique from earlylearningmom.com. I thought I would just come and do a video. I just went and got a new freezer at Lowe's. They had a freezer that I really wanted on sale, and I went and looked at it on Saturday, and then Sunday we decided we wanted it. So today, being Monday, I went to see if I could get arranged to have it, and it's being delivered on this Friday coming up. So, but I'm not here to talk about freezers. What I'm here to talk about is chiropractors and autism, and kind of our experience with chiropractors. So I've been seeing a chiropractor on and off since I was a little kid. My mom used to go to the chiropractor. It helped with her migraines and some back pain that she had. So it used to be in Manitoba in Canada, where I'm from. Chiropractic care was covered under our universal health care plan. And so we would get 12 visits completely free a year. And after that, then you would have to start paying. So once a month, when my mom would go, my brother and I would get adjusted as well. And then things kind of changed, and over time, to the point we're at now, chiropractic care, I think there's a $10 subsidy for your first 7 visits or something. It's not covered the same way it used to be, but we have health care coverage through my husband's work, so we do get chiropractic care. Now, I started bringing my boys when they were little. I remember when Wesley was born, or when I was pregnant with Wesley, I was seeing a chiropractor because I was having a lot of discomfort, a lot of pains, and he landed up telling me when I came in one day, Wes was just super fussy. He was about, I want to say 7 weeks old, and he was in like full-blown colic. And the chiropractor told me, he's like, I can adjust him, and that might help his discomfort. And so at this point, I was so sleep deprived, and I don't even think Wesley was on his dad's insurance yet. And I'm like, whatever, I'll just pay for it. I'll figure it out. And so he adjusted him, and I literally felt, I was holding him, so his head was in, like his face was in my hand, and he was arched, and the chiropractor adjusted him, and I literally felt him in my arms go from complete tension when he sat there to a ball of jelly. Like, he just completely relaxed. He slept like a dream. It was amazing. So I had him adjusted several times, and we got through the colic stage, and so that was amazing. Then flash forward to when Z was born. I was not waiting. Like, I didn't even care that he wasn't on my husband's coverage yet. I was getting him into a chiropractor. And the chiropractor in my hometown, you pay one amount, and then your child is covered till they're 13. And like literally you pay for one appointment. It's like $25. It's not even an expensive appointment, and they're covered till they're 13. And I'm sure it's a tactic to get parents to come in for adjustments too. But at the time, I took him there and had him adjusted, and it was, I think he was 7 days old, 7 or 10 days old. It was about a week or a little bit over a week, and the chiropractor explained it to me. They like to give them a week to kind of unfold from being in the womb. And same thing, anytime we were going through a colicky period, I just called up the chiropractor and got him adjusted, and he slept like a dream. So that's been kind of my experience with chiropractor up to recently this summer. And I was seeing a chiropractor for my hip at the beginning of the year. I was getting adjustments with the activator. There's different methods of chiropractic care, and the 3 I've experienced, the one that I experienced the most was with the activator, or the chiropractor adjuster gun, or whatever they call it. The second one was like a touch method, and that one was really hokey in my experience. I know a lot of people swear by it, but Wes was probably 2 when I tried that kind of chiropractic care, and it didn't do anything for me. We'll put it there. I'm not saying it doesn't do anything for everybody, but for me, it didn't do anything. And then there's manual adjustments, where the chiropractor literally adjusts you by hand, folding and I never thought I could have that kind of adjustment. I thought I would be too tense and to allow that to happen. However, like I said, I was seeing a chiropractor at the beginning of the year, and it was helping for a while, and then it just stopped helping my hip and my knee, and I was just in excruciating pain. Like, it progressively got worse from the time I had Zakari till present day. So I knew that wasn't working, so I kind of stopped going to the chiropractor. And then in the spring, Z got he got a virus. It was probably in the middle to end of April he got this virus. And then it kind of went away, and then he got sick again, and he got an ear infection. And Z has only ever been on antibiotics twice. He's usually bulletproof kind of immune system kind of kid. Not this time. This ear infection, he was a completely different kid. He was in so much pain. I took him to the emergency room. The doctor thought I was crazy, thought he was just behavioral issues. Oh, he's autistic. This is just how autistic kids behave. I'm like, this is not how my child with autism behaves. So he checked the first ear, and I said, he has an ear infection. And he kind of looked at me like, So he checked the first ear. He's like, clear. He looks at the other ear, and he's like, okay, yes, he does have an ear infection. So he gave him an antibiotic, and I had him on Advil and Tylenol, piggybacking. I hate giving Tylenol. I don't believe it's good for kids. I believe that it stops the detox process, but when my kid was in so much pain, I had to do it. And then we did the antibiotics, and he didn't seem to get better. And I took him to the doctor, but our doctor wasn't available. He was on holidays. So we saw this young doctor, and he was like scared to look at Zakari. Like, Zakari would move and he'd jump back, and Zakari plays on that. He knows, like, oh, well, then I don't need to let you look at me. You're not going to force yourself to you're not going to force yourself to have me seen. So I didn't believe that doctor had done a real good job. So I took him to Emerge, which was behind, like, the clinic is attached. They sent me back to the clinic. A different doctor was going to look. But then when they found out he had been seen already by this specific doctor, they're all in cahoots, right? Like, they're not going to go look and then see something different. So they were refusing to see him. So I went back to Emerge, and I said, I'm not leaving until he has been properly looked at. Because he's living on Advil is the only way to get him out of pain. And a doctor came in, and he was so condescending to me, and he was so rude, and just made it sound like I wanted there to be a problem. And my mom was with me, and she's like, you don't understand. She doesn't do doctors. Like, she's only here because there's a problem and her child is in pain. If there's a fever, I let my kids go through the fevers. Unless it's like dangerously high, there's a fever in the body for the reason. I'm not the kind of person that goes to a doctor and wants a prescription, especially for my kids. So just to be accused of this, like, I was getting really frustrated. So he looked at his throat. He said his throat was fine. And then he said, well, if he moves when I'm looking at his ear, I could puncture his eardrum. And I knew he was trying to scare me out of having him looked. I said, well, the nurse is here to help me hold him. And the nurse was quite confident. She's like, we've got him. Just look. So I held him down. My mom helped hold him down, and the nurse helped hold him down. Looked. His ears are fine. They're a little dull, apparently. And that's this behavior, that his outbursts and his angry outbursts and his aggression is behavioral. And I looked at the doctor. I said, I've never heard of autistic behavior being corrected by Advil. So when he's on Advil, he's not in pain, and he's not aggressive, and he's happy as can be. The Advil wears off, and he becomes aggressive. He has no way to tell me that he's in pain. He doesn't know how to tell me he's in pain. And he wrote us off and basically told me, stop coming to the emergency room. It costs taxpayers money every time you come here. And I'm thinking, well, if you guys did your damn job and didn't just accuse the problem of him being autistic, I wouldn't have to be here. And so anyhow, I was frustrated. At that point, I wiped my hands clean. I'm like, I'm done with doctors. I'm done. They're useless. So, I'm just going to lock the door because there's people walking around and I'm kind of nervous. So, moving on, I was just desperate. And I remember my stepdaughter's mom, her best friend, is big into this little chiropractor nearby. Always talking about how great this chiropractor is. So I messaged her. It was like 11 o'clock at night. And she had just had a baby, so I knew she'd be up, breastfeeding, or she'd see my message. And anyhow, she answered right away. And she said, no, Dr. Corey's amazing. He'll be able to work with your son. Call in the morning. They open at 7:30. So I called my girlfriend and I said, look, if I know you're 45 minutes away, and I know you have your daycare kids, but if I can get Z into this doctor in the morning, can you be here? And can you come and cover my daycare while I take Z? I only have 2 kids. And she said, absolutely. So got on the phone and I talked to the secretary, and she was amazing. She's like, yes, we can definitely help. There's probably something going on with his spine. Like, bring him in. So they booked me. They were amazing. They landed up booking me at 10:30. Their office closes at 10 on Fridays. They're only open for a couple hours on Fridays. But they booked me at 10:30 so Z could come in when nobody was there, so he wouldn't feel overwhelmed and he could get comfortable at the office. And the doctor checked him out, followed him around, watched how he moved, and was able to manually adjust him. And I call him the autism whisperer. Dr. Corey's amazing. If he can adjust a car, he can adjust anybody. And I've been adjusted by him, and he's helped my hip pain. He's helped, like, I had spinal x-rays done, and like I said, I've been seeing chiropractors my whole life, but I've never been manually adjusted. And I'm actually developing some arthritis in my back, and I need regular care. And so I'm going every other week. I should be going more often, but unfortunately, I just can't afford it at the moment. So I am doing what I can. Right now, it's more important for Z to be adjusted. So Z had been going through a biting phase. He was biting people because he was in so much pain, and the biting relieved pressure on his ears. After that first adjustment, he bit once. And that time, it wasn't out of pain. It was out of a bad habit of biting. And after he was disciplined for biting, he never bit again. After that one adjustment, he was the pain was gone from his ears. After that night, I didn't give him Advil again. He had been on Advil for 4 weeks. And they're telling me it's not healthy for him to be on Advil. I'm like, no shit. It's not healthy. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be swearing. But, like, no, of course it's not healthy for him to be on Advil, but it's also not healthy for him to be attacking people or biting his hand or being in so much pain. But after that one adjustment, he did not need to be adjusted. He did not need Advil again. So he went every week for 2 weeks twice a week for 8 weeks. And now we're down to once a week. And because we're on a plan, we get a special discount. It's like an administrative discount because we just pay monthly. And I've started seeing Dr. Corey, and he's helped me. My girlfriend, actually a respite worker, her husband started seeing Dr. Corey because he was suffering a lot of pain after a really, really bad semi-truck accident a couple of years ago. He's doing amazing. I always run into him when we're there. And so I just cannot talk about how wonderful it is. Zakari's language is improving. He's happier. The amount of times he's been biting on his hand has gone down. His hand is healing. It was like his knuckles were blown up just from calluses from biting his knuckles. And he bites his wrist a little bit once in a while, but nothing like the hands, that he couldn't even bend his finger because it was so callous. And that is healing up. So that is so amazing. He's just has a calmer demeanor, and I really think chiropractic care plays a big part in it. I mean, we are also doing Doman International therapy and all of that, and I think because of the chiropractic care, the Doman International, like Doman method, is working better. So anyhow, I know that there's claims that chiropractic care, basically, when the spine is aligned, the nervous system works better, is basically what the belief is. And it can help with depression, anxiety, ADHD, autism, migraines, and all that kind of, those kind of issues. So anyhow, I just wanted to come here and share that with you guys, because it's been really, really amazing. And Z likes to go. When he lays down on the table, he takes Dr. Corey's hands and puts them on his head, and he says, "Turn, turn," which he knows he's gonna, crack his neck. Adjust his neck. I know they don't like saying crack his neck, but that's what's happening. And he turns him into a pretzel, and he's got ways to, like, he puts him on his side, he says he's going to turn him into a pretzel, and he cracks his back, and then he gives him a hug in a way, and he's able to adjust his back. And we're hoping that by December we're able to get some x-rays on him. My lighting is going down. Ugh. It's October and it gets dark so early now. But anyhow, before I run out of daylight, I just thought I would come and share that with you and share our experience. I'm really happy with how the care has helped me. I'm happy how Z is doing. Like I said, we've had experience with it helping colic. So if you have a newborn baby that has colic, definitely look into chiropractors. Don't just pick the first chiropractor in the phone book. Call and make sure that they're used to working with kids. I've had a few chiropractors that, as Z got more hyperactive and busy, that they were kind of scared to work on him. And I can see why, but we have just lucked out when we found Dr. Corey. He, like I said, he's the autism whisperer, and he can just get him adjusted, and Z feels so much better after. So anyhow, that is my family's experience with chiropractic care. Let me know, have you had your child seen by a chiropractor? What are your thoughts? And I'd love to hear more. So talk with me in the comments down below, and be sure to check out my blog at www.earlylearningmom.com. Thanks for watching.